Hi everybody, welcome back to More Fun with Felt, and today we're going to learn how to make these absolutely adorable Pom Pom Babies. This was my first one. I got the idea watching a little reel that a company called Irma He's Art did, and they took a brown pom-pom like this and they cut it open and put a hedgehog in it. And I thought, how cute. So I don't want to do hedgehogs because I've already done several of those, but I kind of took the same concept and did it way different. You're not going to have to sew. You're not going to have to cut anything open. This is just felted straight onto the ball, and he's super fun. So they're all going to be, everyone that I do is going to be a little bit of a different, absolutely different character, but I'm going to call them Pom Pom Babies and sell them at my trade shows and on my website. So it's super exciting. So let's go ahead and take a look at how I did it. We'll set him right there. So what I did was I went to Hobby Lobby and I grabbed just a bunch of different pom-poms. So I got all these colorful ones, which I'm most excited about. And then I did also get some regular, just fur colors. And I got a black one, which should be a lot of fun to work with. Maybe some really vibrant colors with the black is going to be fun. So each one's going to have a little bit of a different expression, maybe a different color. And I tried to pick one of the colors that was in the ball for his body. So I chose pink for him. And for this one, I think I'm going to go, so that you can see it well, I'm going to go with this orange. And there are two. This one doesn't have a lot of orange. This one has just a little bit, so I think I'm going to go with this one. It has quite a bit of orange in there, and I think that that'll really complement what we're doing. So you can get these at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure you can get them online as well. This is by a company called Yarnology. It's a faux fur pom-pom. It costs not even $3. So the other ones cost less, like the ones that were not colorful. That one's $1.49. So you can see it's just not super expensive, and it's really not hard. This is totally a beginner project. You're going to be able to get this out probably in an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how long you've been needle felting. So what you're going to need today is the pom-pom that you choose. This one is, let's see. Just so you kind of know the dimensions of this pom-pom. Fur to fur, 4 inches. But if I were to squish it down, the actual ball is about a 3-inch ball. Okay. And then you're going to need scissors. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off while I'm telling you what you'll need. The pom-pom, a skewer, your felting mat. For your felting needles, I used a 36 triangle, a 38 spiral. No, that's a triangle. Let me see. 38 triangle and a 40 spiral. Those were the 3 that I was able to complete it with. You're going to need a small little awl. This is just the cheap little one that might have come with a beginner kit that you got on Amazon. If you don't have a tiny one, you might want to use maybe a little ice pick would work, something like that, but it is going to have to be small like that, like the size of a toothpick. And then you're going to need some eyes. This one was purchased on Amazon, and they are long stem and glass eyes. So you are going to need some of those. You can get pretty much any color you want. This particular kit comes with clear and a black pupil, and then the brown and a black pupil. So you're going to need some of those. You'll need some core wool and some carded wool. So the carded wool, choose whatever color you want. It really is not going to matter. You're going to need some white for the eyes though, and then some black for the mouth. I did use a little, like a very light brown in his nostrils, but that's not necessary. You could either just not color in the nostrils, like I left the belly button with nothing in it. You could not color in the nostrils, or you could just use the black if you wanted to. So it's not necessary to have a whole nother color for that. And I think that's it. I mean, this was pretty simple. So I think that was it. Oh, no. Gorilla Glue. So this is a clear drying Gorilla Glue, and that's for the eyes. This is the last thing, and it is a little tool called a Poquito. I got this from Living Felt, and it's got 242 triangles in it. So we'll be using that a little bit later. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to kind of measure up where you're going to want the little body to be. So I put it actually right over, when I cut that tag off, there's this little hanging thing here. I actually just put it right over that. Now, if you want to be able to hang it later, don't put it there. Put it on the other side. But I don't want to hang it. I like my little guys just to sit. So I'm actually going to cut that little hangy thing off, just so I don't have to felt through it. And then I'm just going to spread all of this fur down a little, just so it's easier to work with. And I'm going to pull some core wool. We just need a small little amount. Like, he is from head to bottom 3 inches. He's not really big. So you're just going to need a little pull. This pull was about, and it's not thick, but about 4.5 inches or so. Okay, and then I'm going to set that aside. So what I want to do is I want to start with kind of like, almost like an 8, like the number 8. So I'm just going to kind of create that just by folding in the centers on both sides and sort of stabbing the top into an 8, a circle. And a hair in there. Into a circle. And doing the same thing with the bottom. So now I have something that looks kind of like a figure 8. It does not have to be perfect at this point. There you go. And I'm not stabbing super hard to like dig it into the mat. I am punching the mat, but I'm just kind of going very gently. And you can just go kind of from all angles around. And that just establishes our main shape. So then you get your ball or your pom-pom, get your pom-pom, and you're going to place it so right now it is 3 inches, and you're going to place it right like over the center of that pom-pom. Take your 36, which is the strongest of all that you have, and you're just going to, right around the outside edge, start popping this down. And as you're doing it, you're just shaping that number 8. Now be careful, number 1, we're using a strong needle because this is all sewn inside. So it is not, super easy to felt through. You can felt through it. You're just going to have to put a little bit of pressure just to get initially through some of those little strings and things. It's just sewn. There's nothing, there's no metal or anything like that in there. So, but you know, string sewn together can break a needle. So you just have to be careful. If you feel any resistance, stop and then just hit it in a different spot. Okay, so I'm just doing the outline here. This is just gonna establish our body. And then we can come back in a little bit and get it all fixed up really pretty with our color. So I'm just kind of making sure that I'm staying in my 8 here. And I'm gonna sort of move the corners or the edges of this in with the needle and then poke it down. You do want to try to hold that fur away just because, you know, it can get in the way. And later we want all the fur to come up around it, so we don't want to felt it down if we don't have to. We're just, right now, we're just felting where the wool is going to be. Okay, so that's around about figure 8. I'm going to go around and trim it up now and round it out. This top portion is going to be the head. And the bottom portion will be the body, of course. You can hear it going through the stitching. And that's why I'm putting the core wool down. This is so tiny, you could do it all with your carded wool, but I'm using the core wool in this case to give me something to actually felt my carded wool into. So I'm not trying to felt the top layer of wool into this hard ball. This is just going to act as my base at that, you know, in this instance. A lot of times if I'm doing something super tiny like that, I won't put the core in it. So it's still a little lopsided. I just want to take a look from overhead and focus on the entire piece instead of just one little section. Okay, so that's pretty good figure 8. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take our color, whatever color you want. This is in a bat, so I'm going to pull it apart. I really only need one layer of this. And then tear it with the grain about, I'm looking for about 5 inches. And it does not have to be precise. Whatever, if you get a little bit extra, you could roll it under and make a fatter belly, or you can just tear some off. So it's really not a big deal. This is not a precise science on this project, which is what's so fun about it. So now on the bottom of your pull, just fold it over. So it's going to look like this. You're just folding it over, and you're going to lay that folded edge right over the white edge of the core wool. So we're just going to start there. I'm going to go ahead and get my 38 now, and I'm going to see if I can get it in right around that edge. If it feels too hard with the 38, I may move back to the 36, but seems like it's letting me do it. So here, I'm coming around the corner, so I'm just going to go ahead, hold my fur down, and fold this under again. So I just want to keep folding that under so I have a nice clean edge around that outside area. I'll try to get where you can see. So I'm just taking this and tacking it straight into the wool, not necessarily going into the body anymore, because that core wool is now really, you know, in the body. It's anchored. So as I keep going around, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing, just making sure it's folded under. Hold that the fur back, and then get it into my core wool. I've been wanting to do a fun project like this for a while now. If you follow my Facebook page, you'll see I do a lot of mystical things, a lot of mystical creatures. I love fantasy creatures like dragons and unicorns and such. And don't normally get to do those on my YouTube as much because they take a lot longer than normal projects. But I decided that I'm going to start trying to come up with some smaller, fun, mystical projects like this to add to the YouTube channels, just so that I can really express what I love the most, which is this kind of stuff. So you should be seeing a lot more of these things coming up. Who knows what they'll be. So I'm just about covered, and I'm just, you know, continuing with that process, going around. Tuck that all the way under because it was kind of long. This right here is probably the hardest part of the whole thing, and it's not even hard. Really simple. It's just a little, you just have to be a little careful. Just, you don't want to really felt all this fur down or anything, so you just kind of have to be careful where you're stabbing. Okay, so let's take a look from overhead. So I kind of lost the corner of my 8 there. I'm going to stab that in. And this part's a little wider. Stab that in. And this part can be cleaned up a little. Okay, so I'm just going to blow the fur this way and sort of see how it looks around his body now. So you can really see the orange right there. I think that's super cute. And then, oh, he's got some beautiful purples and greens. Cute, cute, cute. Alrighty. So what we're going to do now is take another tug of orange, And this is literally like 2 inches probably. Yeah, 2 by 2. And I'm gonna, again, fold the edge down just around the top area. And I'm gonna lay it, again, right around the top of that head. Area. And this is gonna start giving a little bit of bulk to the face. So I'm just taking my 38 and I'm just not as hard as I did before, because now I don't have to go at all into the ball. I'm just felting now onto the face. So I'm just taking my 38 and I'm just kind of tacking this down around the top of the head, like the forehead area, and sort of down towards the cheeks. And now I have this like flap. So I just felted that all down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up where I want the nose, which is gonna be about right there. And I'm gonna fold all of this in. So I'm just kind of folding it under. A lot of folding under in this project. And then I'm gonna roll this down. And however this turns out is gonna be his nose. So this is not any kind of a science, trust me. So I have now like a little, like almost like a bridge of a nose or rectangle-ish shape there. Have some popping out over here. Get that down. So I just want to tack this down and let this nose like naturally become what it becomes. So the way that I rolled it on this one, you can see I kind of bunched it up in like a little circle and tucked it under. So he's got more of a circular nose. This one looks like it's starting to become more flat and his nostrils are on the side. So I didn't plan that, it just happened. And when you do little mystical creatures, that's kind of what happens sometimes. Like the wool is going to dictate what you do. It may change a little, but it's kind of looking like that's what I'm getting here. So I'm going with it. So I'm just kind of stabbing that down. Now I don't want to stab so hard that I'm squishing his face now, okay? Because I am trying to build up his body and his cheeks. So I got that all down. I'm going to go to my 242s. And I'm just going to go over them very lightly, go over the forehead. Because I have a lot of large holes there now from getting that down with the 38. And I just want to use my 242s to sort of fine tune that a little, get rid of all those holes. And then also just shape up this nose. I think I'll put a little divot here just to give it some character. And again, you can make it point out, you can make it perfectly round. You can do it flat and roll a nose and put it on there if you want a specific shape and you don't want the wool to create it for you. I'm taking a little bit and covering this area where I could see my core wool. Right there. And I'm just going to go around this nose and sort of get it stronger. I'm going to take my 36 and kind of emphasize those cute nostrils. And you'll see, like, as I keep felting, it's, the nose is shrinking. It's keeping that same shape, but it's, you know, it's felting down. And I don't want to stab too hard. When I do the shape of the nose, I'm using the 42s because they're gentle. So I don't want to squash it. I want it to keep that shape. Less work for me later. I don't have to keep adding layers and layers of wool. Okay. So I really like that cute little shape. It's good. Okay. So now, let me sort of get this bottom area evened out a little because it was kind of like up on one side and not on the other. I'm not going to the body yet. I'm still focusing just on the face right now. And I'm going to take my 36 and I'm going to create a mouth. So again, on this mouth, I kind of started high here, went low and thin, and then got really wide on this side. You can do any kind of mouth you want. You can just do like a little, you know, side smile, which I absolutely love. I think they always turn out really cute. You can just do a regular smile if you want, if you're comfortable with that. I think on this one, what I would like to do is I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to mark it. And I'm going to come all the way up. I want him to have like a brim to brim, cheek to cheek smile. And I'm just going to mark it out with my 36. You can go kind of slow with this. These guys are seeming, you know, like they have really cute little characters. And I want them to be happy little guys. I might end up with a confused one on purpose, but overall, I want them to be happy. I don't want them to be scaring any children or anything. As you're doing any of these steps, if you have any kind of trouble or questions, you know, feel free to comment and ask me. So now I have that marked out where and I do love that smile. So now I have these two little areas here that are cheeks. And depending on how thick this wool is, when I did this guy and I made the smile, these cheeks naturally occurred. They just sort of popped in there, and that was great. This one, they didn't quite do that for me. So all I'm going to do when that doesn't happen is I'm going to take two little pinches. This is literally the size of a dime. And I'm going to just fold them over and make it like a flat piece with a folded edge. And I'm just going to hold it right up to where I want the cheek to be. And I'm going to lay it down and get my 40 spiral. And I'm going to start it. I'm going to start tacking it right where I put my mouth line. I'm going to tack it right there because that's where I want my cheek to start. So see how that already gives it more character and dimension? Turning it around so I can get to it. And then I'm going to lay my cheek flat, bring it kind of all the way over to the fur line with the needle. And I'm just going to go around the outside edge. Now this is the 40 spiral. It's a very fine needle. So we're not gouging with this. We're just being gentle. There is a little bit of vegetable matter in that little piece. So I'm just going to pull that out. Gently. I don't want to tear my cheek. Okay, so let me come back. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to round this out. See how that's given him character? And if you put it right above this little smile line on his you know, the little end of that smile, it really makes him have a nice, big, fat, happy cheek. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this one. It's about the size of a dime. I'm folding it over. This is a tiny little guy. It looks big, but it's really actually not very big at all. Okay, and I just want a flat edge all the way around. And I'm going to lay it flat and start right there on the end of that smile. Get it where you can see it. Okay, so the fur can be a little frustrating. Okay, so the end of the smile, I'm just going to start right there. I'm going to start it right in that little crack, little crevice there. Okay, so now this time you will want to kind of look at your other side and just make sure that it's going as high as the other side. And just go around the edge of this little piece. Compare it. So I'm calling these Pom Pom Babies. I don't know if they're animals or people. It's kind of hard to tell. Oh my goodness, I love that little cheek. Okay. I'm just gonna, go back over that little smile line. We're gonna be putting black in there. But I just wanna make sure I can see it and I don't lose it. Go back over this little line in the nose here. That looked a little uneven, so I'm trimming that up. Okay. All right, so that's good. So now what I want to do is I want to make this, the chin and the mouth come up and create a stomach at the same time. So I'm going to use my 38 and I'm going to come from where, like if I were to push my finger in here, I can kind of see I'm going to create a natural lip there. See if I push up? So what I want to do is I want to use my needle down here in the stomach area to do that. So I'm going to give it plenty of room for the lip, and I'm pushing that direction. Whichever way we felt, whichever direction we felt, or the needle goes, is the way that the wool is going to move. So this is just creating that bottom lip area. This looks like a little carrot boy. Okay, so that gave him a lip and sort of a chin right there. Very good. Okay, so next we're going to do his eyeballs. He does not have much of a forehead, and that's okay. We're just going to see how this goes. So I'm going to take 2 pieces about the size of a quarter now this time. So if you can imagine the size of a quarter, I'm going to make sure they're the same size. So I just laid them on top of each other and pulled the bigger one, down to the size of the other one. And then I'm going to set him aside. You're going to take this and you're just going to do the same thing that we did for the cheek. You're going to flatten it out, fold it over. Okay, and then you're going to fold that in half, and then you roll it over. and stab that. And you're just going to keep folding it over and stabbing. Now don't, you don't have to go into your mat for this. We're just doing a light stab with the 38 up on this one. Just keep doing that same process. And we're making just a little white eyeball. Now, if you do the pull of the quarter thicker, if you have a big forehead like I had on this boy, I did my same quarter size pull, but I made it a little thicker, so this eye is going to be a little bigger. Now, this one, I did the pull, but I just did it kind of thin, wispy. And so I'm still using a quarter size, but it's going to be a little bit smaller eyeball. And that's because I don't have a lot of space to work with here. And again, each one is going to be a little bit different, so you have to see kind of what you have to work with and feel that out. So if you make a really large eye and you put it on there and you feel like, oh, this is just too big, that's okay. You can just pull a little bit of a thinner piece. Just because you make an eye doesn't mean you have to use it. Use it on your next one. And I'm just going to keep doing the same thing, folding it over and stabbing it. Until I get somewhat of a circle. And now I'm going to roll it in the palms of my hands, just in a circular motion. And finish up that felting. Just making it a circular ball. So the friction in your hands does continue that felting process, which is very helpful. I feel like one is maybe a little bigger than the other one. That's okay. I'm really not picky with these because these are little make-believe characters and they're going to have their own little personality. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like a little natural inset where I want the eyes to go so that the eye's not just popping up off of his face. So generally what I do is I go between the cheek and the nose and I sort of make a little V in my mind. And then that's where the eye goes. Okay. So here's the cheek and the nose, and I make that V, and right in the center of that V is where I'm going to start my eye indentation. I don't want to go into the cheek and I don't want to go into the nose. I'm just sort of starting it here, going straight down in a circular motion about the same size as the eye. Just a little inset for it. So now what I'm going to do, so I've got that little inset. Now I'm going to take my 36 again. And what I'm doing is let me show you that here. So I'm going to take it on the edge of my eyeball, go through it into that little inset that I just made. Okay. So I'm just going to actually take it and push it right through the white into that inset. So you're going to see the eyes are going to get even a little bit smaller. as we do it. And you just go all the way around. And you're not felting the center of this now. Now again, if you have a bigger forehead and you want bigger eyes, just do the same exact thing like I did on the pink one and make your eyes just a little bit bigger. And you can do this 100 times over and it's going to look different every single time. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to form my V. And then I'm going to put my needle right there in the center of that V and do the same thing. Just kind of create the area. Now this is going to be so cute because I want to leave a little bridge of a nose right here. So I don't want to felt into that bridge. So I'm going to make it here, but his eyes are going to be super close together, which I think is cute. Something just flew on there. So you can see how big the ball started and how it ended up. And that's because I'm taking the outer edge and I'm popping it into that little hole that we just made. And I'm felting that outer edge deep into that hole. It's really gonna, number one, ground it in. And number two, it's not gonna look like it's popping off of his face, like unnaturally. It's gonna look like a natural piece of his face. And I'm just going to continue around until I get it the size and shape that I want. And you want to stop and take a look at it, step back, and take a look. Oh my goodness. I'm going to come down with this one a little bit. Kind of crazy. All right, so on this one, I had bigger eyes, and so I was able to use like a little bit bigger inset there with the pupil. This one, I think I'm gonna go with a smaller one. Let me see how white looks. I think I might do the white, the black and white. So you just want to kind of make sure your pupils are the same size. That's pretty good. And figure out which way you want your pupils to be looking. So this little guy, what I want to do is I actually want him, I want him to sort of be cross-eyed. This one I had him looking up to the left, my left, his right. And so I made them, I put both of them this direction. This guy, I'm gonna have him kind of like both eyeballs pointing at each other. I think we're gonna try it and see how it looks. So take your little awl and the direction that you want your eyeball to go, you're just gonna place it there, and then very firmly with one push, I don't want you to squish your eyeball, so you're just gonna one time push through with some strength, and then once you get it through, you're just gonna kind of wiggle a little bit and pop that in and see how it looks. Okay, you don't want to glue anything down yet until you know if you like it. So one pass through and then wiggle a little bit. Pop it in. Oh my God, these things make me smile like crazy. Okay, so I'm not gonna glue that down yet. I am gonna do one more little thing for each of them. And that is, I'm gonna take my 40 and right where my hole is, I'm gonna just make another little inset, just like we did on his face. I'm just gonna do a little one there. Probably lose your hole when you do that. Yeah, lost my hole, I think. And that's okay, because we didn't make a very great hole. Okay, so I'm going to take these out. I'm going to put a little inset, and that's just so this eye pupil, again, is not popping off the white of the eye. It's going to look like it's part of this eyeball. So I'm just taking my finest needle that I have here right now. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing, put it right in the same spot. The hole should still be in there. Take my Gorilla Glue. I'm just going to grab this tag that I had that was on him. Put a little touch of glue. We don't need a lot. And I'm not normally very comfortable with glue around my felting pads, but as long as it's on a piece of paper, I'm good. Okay. And then I'm just gonna wiggle it a little bit, touch the stem into this glue, and then get it right into that hole. Hold it down. Now I'm just trying to get it sort of set into that little inset that we just made. Like that. He's gonna be a cutie. Okay, same thing with this one. Just put it back in there. Get my glue. Put it right in. So cute. I'll hold those down just a second. Oh my God. Okay, that's so funny. Now, he's so funny. What the heck? Loving him. Okay, so now what we need to do is the mouth. Let's do the mouth first before we move down. So you're just going to get your black and just pull a little thin strand, draft it out. That part's off there. Draft it out very gently. And then you can roll it in your fingers. And then I'm gonna lay it here in the center just to get that anchored down. I'm using my finest needle that I have out here, which is my 40 spiral. I wanna hold both ends down because if you can watch this little end as I'm doing this, you're gonna see it wanting to flop around over there. And that is because as I'm felting, I'm pulling the fibers and they are gonna spring up on themselves. And so you wanna hold it down as you go. Okay, and then I'm just gonna make sure I keep this very rounded. Now I don't have to hold this side down because it's tacked here, so my felting is holding it down already. Okay, so now I'm gonna come up to the one side of that little mouth smile end that we made here. And I have all that excess. I'm just gonna pop it in. It's fine. Can't hurt. And then I'm gonna do this again. This time I just need a little bit for this other side, and then we'll move to the other side. Pop it right in there. I'll hold this side down. I want to get it right up to the end of that smile. And I'll just pull this in. Okay, so now, same thing. We're going to come up, go all the way up to the top. I'm going to go one direction. And when I get to where I want to stop, I'm just going to felt that all in. Keep these little fur pieces out. And then get a little tiny piece for that other little smile end there. Don't know what you call that. How fun is that? Super cute. Have a little bit of orange, coral showing through there. So I'm just going to take a little bit of orange and put that tiny bit and put it right there. Okay. And I'm going to shape up now my chin line and my mouth area. Now that I have my line in. Shape it up just by felting from the bottom up. Kind of rounding it off. Finishing out his smile. See how cute that makes his smile look? Super cute. Okay. Loving his cheeks. If anything looks like not complete, just sort of touch it a little. Now this is where you can figure out if you want to put something in the nostril or not. I like to have a color in the nostril. I don't necessarily always want it to be black. And that is because I don't want to draw a lot of attention to it. So I just pick up this little, this is like a terracotta color or a little tiny, like a tan sort of, and oops, and I want my fine one. And I'm just gonna pop it in that nostril. You can put anything. You could do a gray. I've done gray in many nostrils. And this just sort of lets the eye know that it's there, but not necessarily drawing attention to it, right? It's one of those little artist things that when you're real picky, you always want to finish it real well, so you can do it or not do it. I think I'm going to follow this. I like this little line. I'm just going to make this little line come a little further up. I like that. It's cute. Oh my goodness, he's adorable. Okay, so now what we need to do is just finish off his little belly. Put that aside. Take your 36 and find his belly button and just really get a good belly button in there. This is gonna poof up the rest of his belly and make him look super cute and fat. And then I'm gonna set him aside. Goodness gracious, he's cute. And I'm gonna take, this is a pull of, so it's gonna be without the fringe, 2 inches in length by 1 inch. I want 2 of those. So 2 inches by 1 inch. 2 of those. And then I want something a little shorter. Those are going to be the arms. And then I'm going to do something a little shorter so I'll get the same size. And I'm just going to break that in half for the legs. And this is where you'll get your skewer. And draft out your arm, one of the arms. And start on your skewer by holding it down with your less dominant hand. I don't know if you're left-handed or right-handed. And then you're gonna just go tight wraps at an angle. And I'm holding really tight. And I'm keeping my fingers close to the skewer and wrapping up. When I get about 2 inches, I'm gonna start going back down. So I'm just going again at an angle, but going back down the little skewer now. And then with my excess fringe, I'm just gonna wrap it right around. And I'm just gonna wrap it like that several times in my hand, move my fingers up and down it. And this is, again, continuing that felting process. Anything friction is felting for you. And I'm going to do that again with the other one. Okay, same thing. Oops, just let go. I love that these are so colorful. I think I'll do the next one yellow and then maybe the next one blue. And then I'll probably do a white and black one or yellow and black. That would be awesome. And I want to see what you guys do. So if you make these, please, please, when you share it on your Facebook page, please tag me, because I would absolutely love to see it. Okay, so this one, a little less stable than that one, but that's okay. Again, not rocket science here. We're just making little monsters. Okay, or whatever they are, little Pom Pom Babies. I normally make monsters. This one is getting wispy, so I'm not wrapping as tight on the way up, as you can see. And then once I get past the wisp, now I'm going to pull tight and I'm going to come back down. Now, if that ever happens to you, that's a little trick. I went ahead and kept wrapping. You can start over as well if you want to. You don't have to go with it, but if you can save it, you know, try to save it. But if it kept getting wispy, I would not have even tried. I just would have started over with another piece. Each piece is going to behave a little differently. Now these are shorter because they're going to be little feet. Okay, so take those off. You're done with your skewer. So now take your strongest needle, which is the 36 triangle. You're going to hold this down with your fingers. I don't want any of it to move, so I'm holding it down firmly. And be very careful now doing this, because if you want to put your finger guards on, this is a good time for it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the end and I'm going to poke straight into the wool. Okay? Don't poke up at your fingers. Just poke straight into the wool. And I'm holding it down because I don't want it to bunch up on me. See, if I don't hold it, see how it's going to go? So I have to hold it. I'll try to do it that way so you can see a little. And all I'm doing is establishing an end. I just need a little end. Okay? Once I get that done like that, now I can take my 242s in this Poquito tool, and I can just real gently felt it and turn it. And then I'm going to roll it in my hands. Can focus on that end a little. Okay, now you have the option. On this one, I made like a little indent just to make it look like his hand was like kind of cuffed a little. I did that on the feet too. So if you want to do that, you could leave it just like this if you don't. But if you do want to do that, basically you're going to take your 36 and you're going to go at an angle. And you're just going to make that little just semicircle right there. Now what this will probably do is poke through. It's kind of impossible not to on this because it's so tiny. And that's okay. So on the other side, just take your 42s again and just try to knock those down, those little pokes that came through. No biggie. Okay, so now you have like a little cupped hand or cupped foot. And we're just going to do the same thing on all 4 of these. Same process. Okay, so we're going to take our little guy and I'm going to take my two 42 triangles and I'm going to firm up this little tummy area for us so that we have a good surface to felt into. And I want to go towards the belly button so that way I'm keeping the shape of the belly. It just wasn't completely felted yet. I'm just going to smooth it out with my thumb. And then the 2 arms, make sure that the little cupped side is going to be facing in. And let's see how long we want them to be. The vegetable matter just gets everywhere. Okay, so it's going to be about there. I'm going to go ahead and clip at a little angle and then line these guys up so they're the same length. And then again, clip at a little angle. The angle just sort of helped you to, because this is an angle, so it just sort of helps a little. See how it lines up as an angle? And my cupped side is facing in. And I'm going to go ahead and get my 36. No, yeah, that's my 36. Right up by the fur. So I want to put this under his chin where his tummy is starting. That's where it's going. And then I'd like him to kind of be a little bit of a curve here. So I'm going to go ahead and get my next lightest needle, which is the 38. And I'm going to sort of create that bend just in the muscle area there. I'm not going to felt the whole arm down because I don't want to lose the shape of the arm. So I made a little bend and Do that here as well. Get my 36. If you want your arms to be in a little bit of a different position, that's okay. On the pink one, I didn't do this bend. I let them just kind of come out straight as they wanted to. So whatever you want, however you like it. This is free license here, like creativity at its best. Okay, so let me get my 38. Just gonna go into the muscle at that angle. He's really a cutie. Okay, so now on the feet, I want this little cup. I want these to come up, the little cup area. So I'm gonna see where I want my feet to be. I want them to come out kind of equal with where the arms are. So I'm gonna hold that down there. I'm gonna hold them down, and I'm gonna trim the excess right off. I'm still holding them down where I want them. And I'm going to take my 36. Pop it right in there really hard. Go up a little. And then take a look and see if I like it. And then take another little piece of orange or whatever color you're using. And I'm gonna fold it like we did when we went around the edge. So I've got a folded edge. I'm gonna put it right under his little legs. And I'm gonna take my 242s. And I'm using the 42s here because they're for finishing, and this is all going to be seen. So I'm not necessarily building right now. I'm just finishing it off. And they're just a much softer needle for finishing. It's just going to make that leg look like it's actually part of the body there. And I just want to keep my fur out of the way as I'm doing that. Pieces of it get in there when you're felting. Now you just take your needles and sort of smooth everything out. Anything that looks lumpy or bumpy, pop it down. He kind of looks like a troll. So the one thing that I'm not liking right now is where I made my belly button, it kind of created a line right there. I don't want a line over my belly button. So I'm gonna just take another little piece. I folded it over, and I'm going to take my finishing tool, my two 42 triangles, and I'm just going to lay that real gently over that and try to get rid of that line. It's almost looking like he had a line going up on his chest, and I really actually don't even think he has a chest. He just has a big belly. Much better. Okay. So you can do, you know, you can put his hair in his face. With this one, I was playing around with him, and I pulled a little hair forward like that, a little mohawk or something. This one, it's just going to do what it wants to do. So like this one, look, it's naturally going forward like that. And that is the Pom Pom Baby. Like I said, there's all these colors. You can come up with bunches of ideas to do all these different things. They're so inexpensive. So you saw that, you know, that was easy. It took a little longer because I was explaining every step. But if you do one of them, it's not going to take long at all to finish these guys off. The first one that I did, it was about an hour. And that was just because I was trying to figure it out. Now, when I do them, it's going to be probably about 40 minutes or so. And they're just so cute. So as I keep making them, I'll keep putting them on my Facebook page so you can see them. And as you guys make them, put them on yours, tag me, More Fun with Felt, or go straight to my Facebook page and let me see what you made. I would absolutely love that. If you have any questions while you're making them, just leave them in the comments, or again, reach out to me on Facebook. You can find me on Messenger as well. So just whatever you need, let me know. What a fun project. It's so super fun. And it gives you a chance to use your creativity, a little outlet there for creativity, and how fun and cute. I don't even know what they are. I don't know if they're animals. This one looks like a little pig as I look at him more. And this one definitely looks like a little person. So maybe like a troll. So find me on Facebook, More Fun with Felt. Subscribe to the channel. I hope to, you know, just continue doing lots of fun little projects like this in the future. And give me a thumbs up. That would definitely help my algorithm scores. And I do accept super thanks. If you feel like sharing a little here and there, that would be tremendous. I was able with some of my super thanks to get a better lighting system. So hopefully this video looks a little bit better as far as the lighting goes. So I appreciate that. And until next time, I hope you have a absolutely wonderful day. Enjoy this felting project, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.